Hey there guys, welcome back to the channel. Haslar12 here. Today I'm going to share with you guys the custom tactic I used in the weekend league that has just gone. I got 16 wins, 2 defeats with it. It's super attacking, super OP. Let's get straight on into it. I'm not going to mess about with the boring intro or anything like that. It is an ultra defensive. Don't pay attention to that, it's definitely not ultra defensive. The defensive stat is as normal as I usually go for, just balanced, nice and straightforward. You can pick and choose how you defend that way. Width, just push it up slightly, just find that that's just beneficial for myself and my play style. That way your players are naturally quite wide when you win the ball back in defence. The depth, just push it back ever so slightly, just for the sake of, defensive stability more than anything. You don't want your centre halves when you're on the attack and they, win the ball back. You don't want your centre backs too far forward, and I find that this is also quite a good balance because your centre mids are still in the middle of the pitch, quite far forward enough to be able to win the ball back and stop counter attacks and maybe even counter the counter, as you'll see in the gameplay at the end of the video. There's a couple goals that we do score like that. Build up player, go with balanced. Again, I just find that this is the best one that you can use and pick and choose how you attack, what suits your play style the best, how you feel that, which option is the best for you to pick when it comes to chance creation. I've gone with direct passing with this one because I just find that the whole point of this tactic, no dicking about, no tiki-taka, is just get the ball, get forward and try and get in behind the defence, and you'll find that it works really, really well. At least it does for me. Anyway, so yeah, when you have balanced on, you can kind of have, any of these chance creations on. I didn't use forward runs, and I feel like it might be quite good with it, purely because I've got quite a few instructions of getting behind anyway, so I didn't see the point of having, forward runs on, because, my players are already getting in behind and making runs forward as it is. So I figure with direct passing, that would be the best medium for myself, but you can try balanced or possession, but I found direct passing was the best one. Width, I just drop it ever so slightly just because I want my two wingers tucking in ever so slightly. They have got get in the box for cross instructions on anyway, so they're not going to be sitting too far wide naturally when the other one has the ball on the other side of the pitch. So I just want them tucking in a little bit just to give us a little bit more options when we win the ball back. I don't want them right out on the touchline. I've seen people play like that before. I've played against people who've obviously got really high width on, and although it's quite good for keeping the ball, especially in certain situations, especially from like goal kicks and stuff like that, I do find that it's quite difficult to actually attack because your players are so far apart from each other. It's quite difficult to string together some quite meaningful passes. So I just drop that down slightly just to make sure that my wingers are still involved in the play. Players in the box, I'll leave that at 5 because on the instructions I've got people getting into the box anyway that I want to get into the box. So there's no need to put that any higher in my opinion. Corners, I've put that down at 2. I usually have it at 1, but I've noticed with this patch that, that 2 is the best way to go for because you've still got players at the back to stop the counter-attack. I haven't actually conceded, touch wood, from a corner counter-attack for a really long time now. And with the 2, you got more chance of getting actual, someone's head on the ball. I've scored a couple goals where, I've flicked it down for someone from a header, or I've had a bit of a bullshit goal fall my way. Like, just there's one of the clips, I think, actually, of Hakimi. Just falls at his feet and he manages to put it in the goal. So I find 2 a bit more effective than 1, and it also doesn't leave you too stranded to the counter-attack. However, with free kicks, I just leave that on 1 anyway because you're never going to cross it in from the that position it shows on the screen now and score. Very rarely anyway. Personally, I don't do that. So the formation itself, it's a 4-2-4. I don't know why Hakimi's there. That should be the other way around. Yeah, I haven't got the best players for this formation by any means. I don't think Awuwa, is that how you pronounce his name, is definitely going to be the man going forward. It was just something that I put together for this weekend league and it worked really, really well. But yeah, that's the formation. And here are the instructions. So on both wingers, they are just the same. They are both just get into the box for the cross. Again, what I want is to overload that box. If you think about it, most people that play 4 at the back, therefore they've got 2 centre backs and obviously a right back or a left back, depending on what side of the pitch you're on. It depends on how many people are going to be in the box. So if I've got Zaha on the left, obviously his right back's going to be out to him, leaving just the 2 centre backs and a left back to mark the 3 players in the middle. So you'd like to think with players like Giroud, who's got high attacking position, are going to be able to peel off and get a goal or find some space, or maybe set someone up before the edge of the box or something, and it works really, really well. And obviously it works vice versa. If the right winger has the ball, then obviously their left back's going to be occupied. The 2 strikers then, like I said, all about getting in behind, and that's the instructions they've got on them. I just want them to be making runs off the ball constantly, trying to get in behind the defence and trying to exploit a gap in between the defenders and the goalkeeper. The centre mids, And one of them's going to play the more defensive role as usual, as you'd expect. He's going to have stay back while attacking, stay on edge of the box for cross, and cover centre. That's going to be Pep Guardiola for me. I really don't know how he's still in my team, but he's good for links, I suppose. But yeah, that's going to be his job. And then the other centre mid, he's going to be a bit more aggressive. He's going to be get forward, get into the box for cross, and cover centre as well. His job's going to be just to try and cause a bit of havoc by arriving late, or maybe being that outlet for us if we've got a bit of a compact defence. He's going to be that person who's going to be just in and around the area, trying to make sure he's causing some issues for the defenders. And then on the fullbacks, I've just left everything on the default settings. Quite straightforward, obviously for the centre backs as well. Everything is just the default settings. I like that with the centre back, with the fullback, sorry, because you can pick and choose when you want them to go forward. Obviously, if you're winning like 4-0 and you're having a great time and you're dominating your opponent, then by all means get them to join the attack, get them to score some goals, get them to obviously be that outlet for you. But if you're playing against an opponent who's pretty good, 1-0, there's 15 minutes left, you can you don't have to join them into the attacks. You can obviously avoid giving them the ball, or you could just tell them to sit back while attacking anyway. That's completely up to you. But yeah, that's the tactic, guys. It's pretty straightforward in terms of instructions. I've got some gameplay at the end of it, of course, as I always do, just a couple minutes just to show some goals that we scored, and just to show you guys that I've actually used it as well, as I've not just come up with it out of nowhere. So yeah, I'm going to head over to that now, and I'll catch you there. So then, guys, into the gameplay we go. And just before we get into it, I just want to say, if you haven't subscribed, please do. About 85% of people who watch these videos aren't actually subscribed, so if you're one of them, please do consider hitting that subscribe button. It's completely free and it would really mean a lot to me, so yeah, I'd really appreciate that. And if you do already subscribe to me and you show me support and stuff, then a massive thank you. I do really appreciate that. But anyway, about the tactic itself, there's not very many clips here. It's about 2 minutes long, a minute and a half. I just want you to get an idea about how the kind of tactic plays a little bit. You do have to be very aggressive with this kind of tactic. You do have to be willing to make tackles with your centre backs and stuff, but it does pay off. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. You will concede goals, of course you will, but that's just like anything. But what I'm going to say to you is you will create chances. You're always going to have people overloading the box. You're always going to have options when you go forward, and you just have to be a little bit ballsy with it. Don't be afraid to bring 2 or 3 players out of position to try and win the ball back. Obviously, don't go too mental with it, because you will lose, because that's just like anything. But yeah, just don't be afraid. Just give it a real good go. I'm finding that the more I get my centre backs involved with winning the ball high up the pitch, the more success I'm having with the tactic itself. So yeah, don't be afraid to be using those centre halves to try and win the ball back, as well as the fact to try and gang up on your opponent a little bit. It works quite well when your opponent has a goal kick. If you can get, and they take it short, your striker, one of your wingers, and one of the centre mids, all 3 of them kind of running straight at them, you'll find you have quite a bit of success winning the ball back quite high up the pitch. At least that's what I found personally anyway. However, we are coming towards the end of the video now. We've got a couple more clips to show you guys. This tactic was really fun for me. I really hope you guys had the same kind of success that I had with it, purely because I was scoring loads of goals and winning lots of games, and that is exactly what we want. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. I do really appreciate it. Like I said, I appreciate all the support. Please do consider subscribing if you're new, and if you haven't subscribed already, again, like I said, it would mean a lot to me. And I've got a new series coming out, so keep an eye out for that later on this week. But for now, I'll catch you guys next time.